Hello and welcome to Gus McDowell's Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. Today we are playing Sonalyst Combat Systems Fleet Command, an operational level naval combat simulator from 1998. Please remember to like the video and subscribe for more great strategy and tactics content. And if you want to buy me a coffee, the links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. In this campaign, the Falklands, UK forces attempt to break the Argentine naval blockade of the Falkland Islands, Malvinas, in order to clear the way for an amphibious group to land on the islands. This campaign asks, what if the British and Argentine surface fleets fought each other during the Falkland War? This hypothetical battle would be the first carrier battle since World War II. In the last episode, the British fleet attacked the Argentine-Brazilian joint battle group, sinking 4 frigates and shooting down 4 helicopters moving to attack the Amphibious Group, but lost 2 Harriers to lack of fuel on the long 100 nautical mile journey back to the carrier. In this episode, Strike Port Stanley, the British will complete the destruction of the joint battle group, strike Port Stanley, and retake the Falkland Islands. This is the Falkland Islands. The circle in the centre of the islands represents the anchorage off San Carlos in Falkland Sound, where the British Amphibious Group will conduct the landing. The small circles are ASW sectors. The larger circle, not visible here, is a 200 nautical mile exclusion zone inside which the British will engage air and sea contacts without positive identification. The British Amphibious Group is north of the Falklands and heading to San Carlos, the British Carrier Battle Group northeast and heading to Port Stanley, and the last remaining ship from a second enemy fleet is to the southwest. The ships in the Carrier Battle Group activate their air search radars to detect contacts taking off from the runway at Port Stanley.
Wilco, out. Will do, out. Will do, out. Will do, out. Roger. The first pair of Harriers commences a wild weasel run on Port Stanley. They are trying to provoke an Argentine reaction to see if there are any fighters present or surface-to-air missiles that could threaten an inbound Tomahawk missile attack. Roger, out. Affirmative. Roger. Will do, out. The Sea King increases altitude to improve its radar coverage. Can do. The Harriers are ready to break off suddenly. Can do, out. Contact. The Harriers break off. Engage track 2, 7, 9, 5. Wilco, weapon away, track 2. Will do, out. Killing track 2, 7, 9, 5. Roger, out. Birds away, track 2, 7, 9, 5. Newcastle engages the air contact with a sea dart. It breaks left.
Splash track 2795.
Splash 1 A4M Skyhawk. The Wild Weasel tactic worked.
Roger. Can do, Roger, out.
The second pair moves in to do the same.
Roger, out.
A second air contact.
Kill track 2796. Roger, out. Out.
Liverpool engages with a Sea Dart.
Take track 2796. Roger, out. Birds away, track 2796.
It hits the ocean.
Kill track 2796. Will do. Take track 2796. Affirmative. Can do. Affirmative, out.
Westminster engages with guns.
Take track 2796. Out. Birds away. Track 2. Kill track 2796. Will do. Roger. Out.
Then fires an ESSM. It misses.
Killing track 2796. Will do. Out. Birds away. Track 2796. Flash track 2796.
Newcastle fires and hits. Splash another A4M Skyhawk.
Will do. Out. Will do. Out. Will do.
Both pairs of Harriers move in again to test Port Stanley. Still no sign of surface-to-air missiles.
Out.
More helicopters have launched and they move to ASW patrol positions.
Will do. Out. Will do. Out. Roger. Will do. Roger. Out. We'll go. Roger. Out. Can do. Out. Affirmative. Out.
The Harriers increase altitude to get the kinetic advantage. Trafalgar now comes to comms depth.
Roger. Out.
Time to launch a land strike.
This is track 0176. Entering the circuit. Over. It's toast. Taking track 2613. Affirmative. Out.
Trafalgar fires, then retreats to the depths.
Affirmative. Will do. Can do. Out. Will do. Out.
The Harriers will try to distract Port Stanley from the incoming Tomahawk missile.
Affirmative. Out. Can do. Out. Will do. Out.
The Lynx comes in to land on Newcastle. Not the best timing and distracting at a critical moment, but can't be helped. It is running low on fuel.
Roger. Will do.
The Lynx lands safely.
Roger. Can do, out.
The Tomahawk crosses the coast, Port Stanley airfield in sight. Still, no surface-to-air missiles. Hit! And destroyed.
Affirmative, out. Will do, roger, out.
A major objective achieved. Aircraft from Port Stanley are no longer a threat to the task force. Smoke is visible from the ships.
Wilco. Wilco, out. Wilco, out. Affirmative, out. Will do.
Back at the Amphibious Group, it is time for the Cumberland to dispatch the remaining enemy ship. It is within exocet range.
Engaging track 2612. Roger. Missile away. Track 2612.
2 missiles launch. The helicopters continue their ASW sweep.
Will do, out.
More Harriers prepare to launch.
Proceed to base. Affirmative. Proceeding to base. Can do, out.
The Harriers return to base.
Proceeding to base. Roger, out. Can do, roger, out. Will do, roger, out.
The carrier group prepares to move to the Falkland Sound.
Out. Affirmative, out. Will do.
anti-submarine warfare sweeps over the final ASW sector around the Falkland Sound. The waters here are shallow and poor hunting grounds for a submarine.
Can do, Roger. Out. Can do. This is track 0176. Entering the circuit. Over. Affirmative. Will do. Out.
Nonetheless, the helicopters will sweep the area.
Roger.
Trafalgar moves to the Sound.
Will do, Roger. Roger. Returning to base. Roger. Return to base. Out. Proceeding to base. Can do.
The ASW helicopters are low on fuel and cycle.
Will do. Can do. Out.
The carrier battle group also sets new ASW patrol positions on the route to the Sound.
Will do. Will do. Roger. Out. Can do. Roger. Out.
Even at this late stage, they cannot afford to take chances.
Can do.
There have been enough nasty surprises.
Will do. Roger. Out. Will do. Roger. Out. Will do. Out. Will do. Roger. Out. Affirmative. Will do. Out. Can do. Out. Roger. Out.
Kill track 2612.
Hit! The Exocet hit and killed the remaining enemy surface vessel. The Drummond is burning fiercely and lists to starboard.
Will do. Out.
Cumberland makes for the Sound.
Affirmative. Cannot comply. Out. Will do. Out.
As do the remaining vessels.
Will do.
Will do. Roger. Out.
Will do.
Will go. Out.
Invincible launches another Harrier. The Lynx comes in to land on Liverpool. Ark Royal recovers a Harrier. As does Invincible. And another. And Ark Royal again. the radar plot is free from enemy.
Will do.
ASW patrols continue.
Roger, out. 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 Can do, Roger, out.
Drummond now graces the seabed, along with the rest of the Argentine Navy. Fort Victoria recovers a helicopter. And another.
Roger, out. Roger.
Nottingham and Iron Duke change course to the Sound.
Wilco,
Out.
As do the carriers. While we're waiting for the British ships to reach the Falkland Sound anchorage, let's consider some lessons learned from this campaign. But in the meantime, let's skip forward. First, a lesson learned by the British in real life: the importance of airborne early warning radar. Using airborne early warning confers two advantages on the defender. It means ships do not have to use their own radars, with their electronic emissions giving away their numbers and positions to the enemy. And, because altitude increases the distance to the horizon, it provides earlier warning of inbound attacks compared to ship-mounted radars at near sea level. Historically, the British did not have airborne early warning during the Falklands War, which allowed Argentine pilots to sneak in under the ship's radar horizon and attack from close range. The British learned this lesson in real life. After the war, they developed the AEW 2x7 Sea King with the LAST radar. Second, positioning for battle. The British were very poorly positioned for battle at the start of the scenario. The Amphibious Group was too far west and separated from the protection afforded by the carrier group. They were just targets. Moving east at speed allowed them to avoid attacks from the Argentine mainland, but they still experienced an attack that could have been avoided had they been protected by carrier-borne aircraft. And the carrier battle group itself was widely dispersed, using frigates with short-range air defence as picket ships well ahead of the fleet, and beyond protection of the long-range surface-to-air missiles of the Type 42 destroyers. Again, they were just targets. Coventry was lost, and it was only good fortune more ships were not. Third, cycling attack aircraft. When attacking ships, aircraft should generally fire their ordnance, then turn for home to refuel, rearm and re-attack. Where possible, avoid getting drawn into the adversary's surface-to-air missile bubble or into dogfights with defending aircraft. This allows the attacking aircraft to cycle, and one aircraft can conduct multiple attacks over multiple sorties. The Harriers did this, as did Argentine pilots in real life. However, in the scenario, the Argentine aircraft repeatedly pressed home their attacks and were shot down by Harriers and surface-to-air missiles. The Argentinians ran out of aircraft before they ran out of missiles, and this left Vientechenko de Mayo and the runway at Port Stanley vulnerable to British strikes. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Affirmative, out.
Word of the battle has reached London, and the Iron Lady has authorised one more strike. To teach the Argentines a lesson, make them feel vulnerable, and cause them to withdraw any remaining assets to protect the homeland. Trafalgar comes to comms depth.
Can do, Roger. Comms check, over.
A single Tomahawk at the airbase at Puerto Deseado.
Engaging track 2-6-1-4. Can do, Roger.
Trafalgar fires and returns to the depths.
Affirmative. At comm step. Awaiting tasking, over.
But Rio Gallegos is out of range.
I've got him. Take track 2-6-1-5. Will do. Roger, out.
Let's skip forward again. The Tomahawk has traversed around 400 nautical miles of the South Atlantic and is about to cross the South American coast and is inbound on the airbase at Puerto Deseado. Hit! And destroyed! The airbase is no further threat to the campaign to retake the Falkland Islands. Cumberland has reached the Falkland Sound without incident, with the remainder of the task force close behind. Intrepid, carrying ground forces, is safe. Okay, at this point, the British fleet has established air and sea control of the Falkland Islands, shooting down numerous aircraft. Sank an Argentine carrier and destroyer and an entire Argentine-Brazilian joint battle group. Sank the San Juan attack submarine, destroyed the runway at Port Stanley, destroyed the airbase at Puerto Deseado, and broken the blockade by reaching the Falkland Sound anchorage well inside the 200 nautical mile exclusion zone. We have not received a mission complete report, and I suspect a bug in the scenario is responsible. We've completed the objectives. Time to finish the mission. Mission effectiveness 67%. Let's review friendly forces. Invincible and Ark Royal are unharmed. FA-2 Sea Harrier killed by Mirage 3 with R550 Magic for -100 points. FA-2 Sea Harrier killed by Mirage 3 with R550 Magic for -100 points. A Sea King, the Intrepid, Pembroke, Sandown, unharmed. Fort George, AOR 388, damaged by HAS-3 links with Sea Skewer ASM for -100 points. Fort Victoria AOR 387 damaged by HAS 3 links with Sea Skewer ASM for minus 68 points. Cumberland, Liverpool, Newcastle and Nottingham unharmed. Coventry FFG 98 killed by Super Étendard with Exocet for minus 750 points. Westminster, Iron Duke, Trafalgar and a Sea King unharmed. HAS 5 Sea King killed by A4M Skyhawk with AIM-9 Sidewinder air-to-air missile for minus 100 points. FA2 Sea Harrier killed by Mirage 5 with R550 Magic for minus 100 points. FA2 Sea Harrier killed by Mirage 5 with R550 Magic for minus 100 points. 2 Sea Kings unharmed. FA2 Sea Harrier killed by Mirage 5 with guns for minus 100 points. 1 Harrier unharmed. FA2 Sea Harrier killed by Super Étendard with R550 Magic for minus 100 points. FA2 Sea Harrier hit ground for minus 100 points, running out of fuel and crashing no doubt. FA2 Sea Harrier killed by Super Étendard with guns for minus 100 points. 1 Harrier unharmed. 3 Lynx unharmed. FA2 Sea Harrier hit ground for minus 100 points. 1 Harrier unharmed. Another Sea Harrier hit the ground. And another. 2 Sea Kings, 2 Harriers and a Lynx unharmed. Another FA2 Sea Harrier hit ground. And another. 2 Harriers, 2 Lynxes and 3 Sea Kings unharmed. HAS 5 Sea King killed by HAS 3 Lynx with Sea Skewer air-to-surface missile for minus 100 points. His helicopter was destroyed on the AOR. And a second, much like the damage to the Atlantic conveyor. And a third. And a fourth. And a fifth. 3 Sea Kings unharmed, 1 Lynx unharmed, and 7 Sea Kings unharmed. So, the Coventry sunk, both oilers lightly damaged, 7 Harriers shot down, 6 lost by running out of fuel, 1 helicopter shot down, and 5 lost on the deck of the oilers. Let's review enemy forces. Airport killed by Trafalgar SSN 107 with Tomahawk land attack missile for 2000 points. S2E Tracker killed by Sea Harrier with guns for 100 points. P3 Orion killed by FA2 Sea Harrier with AIM-9 Sidewinder air-to-air missile for 100 points. Mirage 3 hit ground for 100 points, so it was not just the British. Mirage 3 unharmed. Mirage 5 hit ground for 100 points. Mirage 5 killed by Liverpool DDG-92 with Sea Dart surface-to-air missile for 100 points. Super Étendard killed by Liverpool DDG-92 with Sea Dart surface-to-air missile for 100 points. Super Étendard killed by Westminster FFG 237 with ESSM surface-to-air missile for 100 points. Mirage 3 killed by Liverpool DDG-92 with Sea Dart surface-to-air missile for 100 points. Mirage 3 killed by Westminster FFG 237 with ESSM surface-to-air missile for 100 points. Mirage 3 hit ground for 100 points. Mirage 5 hit ground. Mirage 5 killed by Newcastle DDG-87 with Sea Dart surface-to-air missile for 100 points. Super Étendard killed by Sea Harrier with AIM-9 Sidewinder air-to-air missile for 100 points. Super Étendard killed by Sea Harrier with guns for 100 points. And another Super Étendard killed by Sea Harrier with guns for 100 points. And another Super Étendard killed by Sea Harrier with guns for 100 points. Vientechenko de Mayo CV2 killed by Trafalgar SSN 107 with Spearfish torpedo for 3,000 points. And help from Harriers and Harpoons, of course, it was a team effort. La Argentina DDG-11 killed by FA-2 Sea Harrier with Sea Eagle air-to-surface missile for 750 points. The loss of the carrier, an escorting guided missile destroyer, will no doubt end the legitimacy of the Argentine military junta. S-2E Tracker killed by Sea Harrier with guns for 100 points. S-2E Tracker killed by Sea Harrier with AIM-9 Sidewinder air-to-air missile for 100 points. P-3 Orion killed by Sea Harrier with guns for 100 points. San Juan SSK-42 killed by HAS-3 Lynx with Stingray torpedo for 750 points. HAS-5 Sea King killed by FA-2 Sea Harrier with guns for 100 points. A-4M Skyhawk hit ground for 100 points, a real problem on both sides. 5 Mirage 3 and 3 Mirage 5 unharmed. A-4M Skyhawk killed by Newcastle DDG-87 with Sea Dart surface air missile for 100 points. And a second. And a third. And a fourth. HAS-3 Lynx killed by Sea Harrier with guns for 100 points. And another. Dodsworth FFG-47 killed by Sea Harrier with Sea Eagle air-to-surface missile for 750 points. Bossisio FFG-48 killed by Sea Harrier with Sea Eagle air-to-surface missile for 750 points. Rademacher FFG-49 killed by Sea Harrier with Sea Eagle air-to-surface missile for 750 points. Granville FFG-33 killed by Sea Harrier with Sea Eagle air-to-surface missile for 750 points. Drummond FFG-31 killed by Cumberland FFG-85 with Exocet for 750 points. HAS-3 Lynx killed by Sea Harrier with guns for 100 points. And a second. And a third. And a fourth. A-4M Skyhawk killed by Newcastle DDG-87 with Sea Dart surface-to-air missile for 100 points. And a second. Mirage 3 hit ground for 100 points. And another. F-5E Tiger 2 killed by Trafalgar SSN 107 with Tomahawk land attack missile for 100 points, probably on the runway at Puerto Deseado. But is this the first time a British SSN has destroyed an aircraft? 4 more to become an ace? Assigned tasks. Stanley Airport hit. You failed to complete your assigned task to conduct a strike on Stanley Airport. I think this is a bug in the scenario, as we clearly destroyed Stanley Airport, but let's check the replay. Blockade broken. You did not destroy Stanley Airport and break the blockade by getting within 30 nautical miles of 5115 south, 5857 west. Again, I suspect a bug in the Port Stanley objective, and the entire task force less Coventry made it to the Falkland Sound, so I think we achieved both objectives. The British lost 1 ship, 13 Harriers and 6 helicopters. The Argentines lost 7 ships, 1 submarine, 2 airports, 30 aircraft and 7 helicopters, and of course, the Falkland Islands. But let's watch the replay and see if I'm right. British forces were poorly positioned at the outset, and unaware of the joint battle group to the west, let alone the Skyhawk. No strike from the mainland. The defensive counter-air battle begins. An Orion shot down. Multiple aircraft and missiles. Coventry is lost. The first wave is defeated. Second wave also defeated. Third wave. a combination of Harriers in combat air patrol and surface-to-air missiles from the ships. Also defeated. Then the tracker shot down, blinding the enemy fleet. Fourth wave. Defeated. The defensive counter-air battle now complete with losses on both sides. Next, offensive counter-air. No aircraft detected. Next, the Harriers detect the Argentine Surface Action Group and launch an anti-surface warfare strike by the Harriers against La Argentina. It is crippled but afloat. Another airstrike outbound against the Cinco de Mayo. The Sea Eagles are mostly defeated with minor damage. The Argentines have launched an airstrike from the mainland against the Amphibious Group, but have failed to detect it. The group fled east and has now turned south. More offensive counter-air. The Lynx is rescuing downed enemy aviators. Enemies, but still human beings. Another outbound airstrike. Defensive counter-air against the Orion and Harpoon missiles. And a Sea Eagle sinks La Argentina. The first nasty surprise, Newcastle detects a San Juan, and a Lynx is sent to investigate. It launches a Stingray torpedo. And sinks the San Juan. The task force is conducting an anti-surface warfare sweep. The Argentines have launched a major air attack from the mainland. Mostly Mirage 3s and 5s. Another outbound airstrike. Sea Eagles and ship-launched Harpoons. The Cinco de Mayo is severely damaged and loses speed. The airstrike from the mainland has not found the Amphibious Group and has turned back. Imagine if this strike had found the unprotected British ships. It would have been a bloodbath. Trafalgar now launches 2 Spearfish torpedoes at the Cinque de Mayo in a coup de grace. Cinque de Mayo is destroyed. Offensive counter-air provokes the Argentines at Stanley. Both Skyhawks are shot down. Another 2 launch. A British helicopter is lost, the second nasty surprise. Both Skyhawks are shot down. The British are now in for a third nasty surprise. 2 Lynx helicopters launch a raid on the Amphibious Group. The British were unaware of the joint battle group to the southwest. Sea Skewer missiles and Stingray torpedoes. The attack inflicts minor damage on both oilers, including the loss of 5 helicopters, much like the attack on the Atlantic conveyor. The Lynx try to make a getaway but are intercepted by Harriers and shot down. Amazingly, the slow oilers outrun the torpedoes. The British now want to know what is to the southwest. Harriers detect, then strike. Destroying the Granville, and despite valiant ESSM defence, the Dodsworth. The Harriers intercept and splash 2 more helicopters. Another Harrier intercepts and splashes 2 more helicopters. An outbound airstrike from the carriers. Sinks Bosisio and Ruddermaker, leaving Drummond and Guerrico undetected by the British. Another offensive counter-air. Stanley launches 2 Skyhawks. They are shot down by missiles. Trafalgar launches a Tomahawk strike. The airbase at Stanley is destroyed. An airstrike from Rio Gallegos to the southwest is inbound, and Guerrico remains undetected. Cumberland launches 2 exocets at Drummond. Ironic. Drummond is destroyed. The airstrike turns away and Guerrico is recalled to the mainland. The British task force now moves towards the Falkland Sound, taking position to launch an amphibious attack at San Carlos. The Iron Lady authorises a tomahawk strike against Puerto Deseado. Cumberland enters the Sound. The airbase at Puerto Deseado is destroyed. The British now have air and sea control of the Falkland Islands, and the land combat to retake the islands is imminent. Britannia rules the waves. God save the Queen. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.